Hi there, my name is Tricia, and I'm here to share with you today 2 easy trade setups that you can use on the E-minis trading the ES. You can go to www.easyeeminitrade.com and pick these 2 setups up, not for hundreds of dollars and not for thousands of dollars. I just got tired of everybody out there selling their programs and setups and so forth, making a fortune. And of course, that's their prerogative, but that is not my intention here. I started to feel like I'm the only one not making money out there after buying, every program and every system and every trade setup. So I thought that I would share these with you, and hopefully they'll be a help to you. The key to being a successful trader, of course, is to have a solid trading plan and a setup that you're confident in taking, knowing that you have high odds of it being successful, and also a setup that you can repeat over and over again without hesitation. And that's the key, is to not be afraid to pull the trigger just to take the trade. I start out by looking at a longer time frame tick chart to determine if I'm going to be going long or short for the day. Obviously, in looking at this chart, we're going to be going short today. Now, the 2 setups that I use, one is basically taking a setup off of this longer tick chart here, and then the second setup that I use is strictly a scalping setup. Obviously, you'll be taking more scalping setups if that is your style. That is my style, so that's usually what I do. But when a trade sets up off of this chart, it is usually a pretty powerful move. So like I said, I start out on this chart, then I go down to a smaller time frame minute chart, and then a smaller time frame tick chart. And I always drill down, and I will always take my entries off the smaller time frame tick chart based on the indicators on that tick chart. The reason I use the smaller time frame tick chart to time my entries is going to give me a really nice entry in the way that my stop is going to be much smaller than if I were to go off of a longer time frame minute chart or a longer time frame tick chart. I do use the, and I'll show you this here in a second, I do use a smaller time frame minute chart with 3 specific indicators, and I always look to that chart. If my indicators are not giving me confirmation of my entry, either long or short, I pass on the entry. This is how I'm able to take a high odds trade. I may pass a lot of trades that would have worked out, but I stick to my rules, and that really is the key, is to stick to your rules. So this way you are doing something that you can repeat over and over again. So here was the first trade that I took, and actually this wasn't the first trade I took, but this is the first trade that I took that set up off the longer time frame tick chart. I got in at short, of course, at 930, and I entered this trade based up on the setup on the intermediate tick chart and the low time frame minute chart and smaller tick chart. Everything confirmed that this entry was good, so I took it. Now, I have 3 different ways of trailing my stops, and again, you go to the website and you'll pick all this information up, but based on the way that I trail this stop, I had a gain of 6.25, which I was really happy with, obviously. So let me repeat. I took this setup because on the longer time frame tick chart, that's where the big mover setup was setting up. And so I entered off of this smaller time frame tick chart, and it worked out really well. This chart is showing 2 scalp trades that I took earlier in the morning. I don't ever trade before 9:40. I let the market open up and do its bouncing around, and then I wait for a setup to take place, either off the longer tick chart or this chart here. Using these indicators, that's how I'm getting in my scalp trades. These specific indicators allow me to get in as long as all the other 2 charts are lining up, confirming it. So you can see where the arrow is up there in the upper left-hand corner. I entered my short 947.50, and my initial stop was 949.25. Now, like I said, there are 3 different ways of trailing your stop. Quite honestly, I'm more of an in and out kind of person. I don't like to be in a trade too long when I'm going in off the scalp setup. But using the one method of trail stopping, I was stopped out at 945.25 for a gain of 225. Now, if you choose to use the second method of trail stopping, you would not have been stopped out until 942.25 for a gain of 525. So, obviously that is going to definitely be your discretion which trail stop method you like to use, but it still worked out for a gain, so I'm still happy with it. This actually is showing another scalp entry trade that I took. This set up at approximately 12:15, 12:16, and my entry was going short at 925.50, and my initial stop was 927.50. I trailed my stop, and I did not get stopped out until 921.75 for a gain of 3.75. So the two methods that I just showed you are showing a longer tick method, which will capture larger gains, and then also the scalp method. The scalp method, you are going to have a lot more setups, and the key is that's what it is, the scalp. You get in and you get out, but you still have specific rules, and you follow those specific rules. You just don't trade and then you're scared that you're losing your profits and you get out. If you go to the website www.easyeminitrade.com, you can pick up these setups, and I'm sure that it's really going to help, at least in giving you rules to follow and specific guidelines, and there will also be a checklist there, so you can follow your trades and follow the checklist before you're ever entering the trade, so everything is lining up, and that is what's going to make you successful as a trader and successful in being able to repeat your entries and exits and so forth. So the trade number one that we took was the regular long-term setup on the longer time frame tick chart for a gain of 6.25. Trade number two, we used the scalp method, and again, depending on which way you trailed your stop, I had a gain of 2.25, but if you're someone who uses the other method to trail your stop, you had a gain of 5.25. Trade number three, we used the scalp method again, and that was for a gain of 3.75. So my total today was a profit of 12.25, and of course if you use the other trailing method on trade number two, your profit would have been 15.25. So these setups occur over and over throughout the day. The key is, as I've said, you have to have a plan and you have to follow the plan. So go to www.easyeminitrade.com and pick these two setups up, and I think that you'll be really happy that you did, and I think that they will really help you in having a specific entry, exit, and trail stop plan. Thanks. Have a great day.